Now, this is really out there. Even the mainstream media can't turn a blind eye to stablecoins anymore due to their meteoric rise in value. Here you may see it. According to a recent article on CNBC, stablecoins have the potential to utterly transform the way Americans purchase at brick and mortar establishments. This isn't some made up company. Actual companies like Prevail Coffee are riding the stablecoin bandwagon to cut costs and disrupt their local industries. When crypto was initially designed, this was its intended purpose: effortless operation, immediate savings, tangible results. This technology is so real that you can see it in action. These businesses are using stablecoins to demonstrate its efficacy. Some may argue that this is nothing more than stablecoins, and I hear them. Not really intriguing for crypto because the networks themselves aren't important. However, this is what they are neglecting. It makes a huge difference which network these stablecoins end up on. Why? The underlying gas token becomes more valuable and useful because gas costs are still required for those transactions to settle on the blockchain. This is quite thrilling news when we speak about the stablecoin adoption market, which is, believe me, booming. We seem to be approaching that critical juncture, you know? Similar to the time when social media went viral and became everyone's favorite pastime online. There was a social media frenzy. It started by bringing millions of new people online and continued to expand exponentially after that. In my opinion, stablecoins could represent that watershed moment in crypto. However, this is where the story gets intriguing. Not your average retail investor is among the influx of users. We're talking about the major participants here, including large corporations, financial institutions, and small and medium sized enterprises. Retail adoption follows suit once they're convinced. That is the point at which widespread acceptance begins to accelerate. Seems really cool, doesn't it? Speaking of widespread interest, Bloomberg is reporting on it as well. The headline says it all, and I wish I could show you the complete piece. The scope of banking is reduced by stablecoins. Stablecoins are changing the face of traditional banking and the financial industry as a whole, according to major news sites throughout the world. A monumental event is unfolding before our eyes right now. Stablecoins, according to the Governor of the Bank of England, might lessen our dependency on financial institutions. And I'm not exaggerating. Stablecoin transactions can be sent anywhere in the globe for a fraction of a penny, so why bother with traditional banking? What matters is the amount. It should be obvious. Yeah, stablecoins have made it to the majors. They have just surpassed the $300 billion milestone. The overall market capitalization of stablecoins has reportedly exceeded $300 billion, as reported by Cointelegraph. Now we get to the wild phase. That's a rise of nearly $5.5 billion in the past week alone. 7 days. This expansion is mind-boggling. The underlying blockchain networks are going to see tremendous bullishness as stablecoins are currently experiencing their breakout moment. Stellar, XRP, Hedera, and Algorand are all set to reap enormous rewards as a result of this. At present, there are more than $312 billion worth of stablecoins available on the market. The staggering $312 billion passing through stablecoins is mind-boggling, even though RWA.XYZ's figures are a little off. Imagine for a second how drastically things have changed in just the past year. It is astounding. This rise is just mind-boggling, as the figures prove. To give you a better idea of the big picture, I'll take you back a little. Return with me to the year 2024's beginning. There were about $129 billion worth of stablecoins at that time. So here we are, now at nearly $291 billion. Really closer to $300 billion, as we are aware that we have surpassed that mark. Wow, what remarkable growth in only 1.5 years. Now let's delve into something even more intriguing. We have been consistently around $3 trillion in monthly transfer volume for a while now. We haven't reached our all-time highs just yet, but we're very, very near. Allow me to illustrate my point. Despite September being an unremarkable month for cryptocurrency, about $3.2 trillion was transferred. Just 1 month prior, $3.5 trillion, plus an additional $3.2 trillion the previous month. The worst part is that cryptocurrency has a dull few of months. At that period, the market did not have many participants. Despite this, We are still documenting these enormous amounts of data flow. The exponential growth of the stablecoin market is completely illustrated by that. When we break it down by year, we find that we're sitting on more than $25.5 trillion, nearly $25.6 trillion for the entire year. We reached $27.4 trillion in 2024. The most significant event in this market cycle has not even occurred yet, in my opinion. Naturally, I'm referring to alt season. Serious advances are being made by XRP. Because of its meteoric rise in RWA value in stablecoins, XRP must now be discussed. This is what you need. Market capitalization for XRP stablecoin has increased by more than 39% in the past 30 days alone. Wow, that is just remarkable. At the moment, RLUSD stands out as the stablecoin that is driving this growth on XRP. On the XRP ledger, we have recently surpassed $90 million linked to RLUSD. It makes perfect sense now that I know most of the RLUSD supply is still on Ethereum. This is something I've discussed at length. When it comes to stablecoin initiatives, Ethereum is currently the most liquid network. Many stablecoins are starting on Ethereum initially, as expected. Subsequently, these other networks will experience significant growth. It's merely the space's natural progression. Look at these RLUSD figures, though. Our gain over the past 30 days is around 11.2%, while RLUSD, valued at more than $789 million, were in circulation. Now we get to the thrilling part. With roughly $5 billion associated with RLUSD transactions, the monthly transfer volume has increased by around 53% in the last 30 days. I am blown away. These figures clearly show that RLUSD is experiencing enormous adoption. Monica Long lays up some shocking facts. So, Ripple President Monica Long recently sent me an extremely intriguing message on my former timeline. In all candor, her post regarding stablecoins is worth discussing. Banks and payment companies' earnings calls and crypto are rife with stablecoin payments, she added. Social media. Why is this happening? At long last, TradFi and DeFi are fully embracing payments as a key use case for blockchain. Then she went headfirst into stablecoin frenzy, the trend she deemed most important. Plus, her inquiry was spot on. Are 100 distinct USD stablecoins really necessary? Because let's face it, a lot of them don't seem to have a specific purpose and are just motivated by fear of missing out. She can't help but think about the NFT craze that swept the world in 2020 and 2021. Having said that, she's not claiming that all stablecoins are useless. Some certainly have practical use. Examples include consumer loyalty programs and interbank payments. Having control over one's own reserves or one's own brand is critically crucial to some businesses. However, not everyone finds the prospect of creating their own stablecoin to be worthwhile. You'll need to manage the asset, ensure compliance with regulations, and create distribution and liquidity from the ground up. Not everyone needs to undertake such a complex and costly endeavor. Additional tendencies to be aware of. Stablecoin payment network pop-ups, the second trend, were carried on by Monica. Additionally, a few of these come with well-known brands as associates. But hear me out, you are not misled. The tough questions must be asked before you join any of these networks. Why are there onboarding fees? How about mending fences? The truth is that if the network provider does not have the proper licensing, they have essentially merely linked together a number of unrelated businesses. All the problems of correspondent banking persist, except this time they take place on a blockchain. Definitely not the kind of breakthrough we're hoping for, is it? And then there's the third trend. Create your independent blockchain. Payment processing does necessitate a specific set of capabilities, but you won't believe what comes next. In order to facilitate payments, public Layer 1 and Layer 2 chains have already been developed. Greetings. XRP key? In order to accomplish true decentralization, provide enough liquidity, and establish all the necessary infrastructure for payments to function correctly, Any new blockchain would require enormous financial investment and years of hard labor. It's not an easy undertaking. All these stablecoins have one major flaw. Here is the main issue, folks, when we consider the current state of affairs in the stablecoin space. Our stablecoins are operational at this time. Right now, we have RLUSD at our fingertips, an all-inclusive stablecoin with complete transparency and full backing, ideal for all payment use cases. Still, an increasing number of participants are establishing their own stablecoin projects and using them to fund the development of new networks. What problem are these unlicensed network providers and their chain of partners actually solving? Monica Long makes a valid point about this. The only change is that it is now occurring on-chain rather than off-chain, which is causing a lot of trouble. This is precisely why our attention is drawn to Ripple's actions with RLUSD. The reason being that RLUSD is currently experiencing substantial adoption. Life in Africa is being transformed by RLUSD. This announcement was among numerous significant ones that occurred this year. The impact of this was amplified on October 1st, when Ripple reshared it. Transferring funds across African countries shouldn't be a hassle or a drain on resources. The RLUSD stablecoin, backed by the US dollar, is altering that. They are lowering prices, increasing transaction speeds, and providing dependable access to companies and consumers all over the continent through their relationships with Chipper Cash, Yellow Card, and Valor.com. Stablecoins are revolutionizing financial services in Africa, and we're witnessing it happen right now. A new chapter for stablecoins and financial inclusion, RLUSD in Africa, was the title of the announcement. This is a watershed moment for financial inclusion in general, not alone stablecoins specifically.